Hi guys, welcome to Fitness and Tech channel, and this is our lesson 1 in our SolidWorks tutorial. So in this lesson I'm going to be teaching you the basics of SolidWorks. I'm going to introduce you to the working environment. I'm going to show you very useful tools we are going to be using throughout the series. Like I said, this is the lesson 1, so with time we're going to build on what we have learned today. Okay, so this is your SolidWorks icon, your environment. Once you click on the icon, the SolidWorks icon in your system, it brings you to this place. As you can see, I'm doing this tutorials with 2015 version. You could use a more recent version. The tools are basically the same. Now, the first thing you want to do is you're going to decide the kind of drawing you want to do. Now, what kind of drawing do you want to do? Now we go to new, so we click on new. Now you see we have 3 options. We have the 3D representation of a single design component, we have the 3D arrangement of parts and other assemblies, and then we have a 2D engineering drawing, typically of a part or assembly. Now I'm going to explain what these 3 stuffs mean. The 3D representation of a single design is, now whenever I want to design in SolidWorks, I'm going to first of all go to my document, open a folder for whatever work I want to do. Let's say I want to draw a generator set, so I'm going to open a folder in my document and name it generator set. Then in that folder, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be drawing every part of the generator set as one part, one by one. I'll save in that folder, as I will save it with the name of that part. Let's say the engine seating, I'll draw it, I'll save. Let's say the frame, I'll draw the frame, I'll save as a single component. So the part drawing is where we design each part of the drawing, or each part of whatever it is we want to draw, each part of the machine, the system, or the facility, or whatever we are designing. So we design it part by part. So when we want to draw a single part, we come to part drawing. Now when we are done with all the parts of this particular machine, we open an assembly drawing. So that's the second one, a 3D arrangement of parts or other assemblies. Now in this particular workspace, we don't draw parts again. We are done with that. So what we do in an assembly workspace is that we start bringing in all the parts that we have drawn in parts drawing, and we start assembling them, or we start coupling them one by one. So when we get to this stage, we are going to do a tutorial, also a lesson on assembly. So we are not going to talk much about it right now. And then finally, when we have finished assembling, of course, you know that there is a difference between an engineering working drawing, the one that has all the necessary details for manufacturing, and just the 3D model, which is what we want to build first now. So in this third one, the 2D engineering drawing, typically of a part of our assembly. Now this is where we represent it, or we change it into a production drawing. This is where we bring out the parts and then label them and put all necessary details for manufacture. So the artisan in the workshop, the technologist or the technician in the workshop, what he needs is what? This third one, the 2D engineering drawing of whatever you have designed. So this is what he works with for manufacturing. Yes, he may need to see the assembly to have an idea or a mental picture of what the entire assembly would look like. He can see the parts, yes, but the one that carries the full engineering detail for production is the 2D engineering drawing. Okay, so we go back to our part. Remember, once start drawing that part, so we click on the part and then we click OK. Now it opens the workspace where we can draw our parts for us. So as you can see, we are in this workspace. So this is the basic workspace for part drawing. Now I'm going to take time and give you a quick review of this workspace before we proceed. Now you can see my cursor. This is the drawing area or the graphics area. You can see my cursor. This whole up is the largest window here. That's our graphics area. So everything I want to draw, everything I want to design will be done in this graphics area. Okay, now on top we have our menu bar, we have our toolbar. So of course, just like every other software, you always have a menu where you have open, save, new, and the rest. So it's not different in SolidWorks. This is it. So if I put my cursor here, it brings them like this: file, edit. If I leave, it gives me these stuffs like icon, save, open, new. I could decide that I want 2 of them. I'll put my cursor here, then I'll pin this. So can you see? So if I pin this, I have the combination. If I unpin, it leaves. So whichever way, this is not so much of a problem. Now we have our toolbar. So this is where all the tools we are going to be designing with. This is where we pick them from. So we have features, sketch. So we have sketch. You see, these are where our basic sketch tools are: our line, our circle, our spline, our, what else do we have, rectangle, and the rest. So these are the basic sketching or drawing tools that we'll be using to design whatever it is. And then we have evaluate. Okay, so this is where we run simulations when we are done with the designing. We have dimension expert, that's dim expert. We have Solidworks add-ins. So these are for much later classes. So but we are, so for now we're going to be concentrating on these features and sketch toolbars. So the sketch and features are the major tools we are going to be using to design whatever part it is we want. If you have been following this channel and if you have watched my videos on AutoCAD tutorial, if you have watched my AutoCAD tutorial videos, you're going to understand in the AutoCAD it is draw and dimension. So here is no longer draw, here is sketch, and then the draw and modify, draw and modify. So the modify in AutoCAD is the features here. Okay, so back to what we were saying. Now you can see I have a couple of tools here. Now first of all, let me tell you that you can bring in more tools. Look at this, my reference geometry, look at this curve, look at this instant 3D. Now if I go to my sketch, okay, so this is what I have in my sketch. Now you can bring in more tools here. Actually, this is just what you have in your default. You can bring in more tools, but I'm just going to guide you through how you can bring in more tools here. But you will now decide what you want to bring in when you start drawing, because there are some tools you just need to be very close to on your screen. You just need them close because you're going to be using them frequently. So most times you just want to bring them in here. Okay, now I'll go to my features. Now anywhere on this toolbar, anywhere, I just look for a free space. I'm going to right click and then I'll scroll down. I want to get to the end, so I'm going to tap on this arrow. I'll get to the end. Good. There is a customized menu. Is that customized menu? No, I'm right click. So scroll down. Okay, I have a customize. Okay, good. I have a customize. Now let me take you through this. These are our toolbars. Now look, you're going to see that some are checked. Are you seeing it? Some are checked. 1, 2. Task pane is checked. View is checked. A lot of them are unchecked. Motion manager is checked. Now these are the toolbars that are displaying. They are the checked ones. Now this is my motion manager where I do my motion study. Can you see my cursor? Now look at it while I uncheck the motion manager toolbar. Can you see motion manager has disappeared? I check again, motion study 1, it has appeared. So everything you're seeing on the screen is because it's checked. Let's go again. Now look at my views. Now I'm going to uncheck. Can you see? Just look at where my cursor is. Let me check again. So they have appeared again. So these ones are the ones that Solidworks themselves feel they are most necessary. Okay, they are the ones that are most necessary. So the more you click on any toolbar you click on, it appears on your screen. So we don't want to get the screen crowded, but we still want our important tools. Okay, so this is it. So we are going to leave this like this for now. Now the next thing I want to show is that I have a list of commands too. Now in this list of commands, it separates all the command in each toolbar. Now these are the list of tools in our flyout toolbars. Can you see it? These are the list of tools. Now for our 2D to 3D, these are the list of tools, so of commands there. So I can decide to pick a particular command and drop it on my screen if I know I'm going to be using it frequently. We go to features. Can you see my features? Now this is my features, and these are the commands. You see it, buttons. These are all the commands I have under my features. Okay, these are all the commands I have under my features. Now look at this command. Can you see the symbol? Look at this command. I want to bring it to my screen. So I'm just going to click and hold, and then I drag it. And that's the move/copy bodies. I'm doing this because I'm already used to it. I've been using these tools before, so That's why I'm bringing it. So please, on your own, try and bring the move slash copy bodies. Okay, so I brought the move slash copy bodies, and okay, I'm just going to let it be. So if peradventure there are other 2 other commands we need, maybe as we proceed we are going to bring them in. Okay, so that is it, and that is it for this one. So whatever, when you are done, you say okay, and then it exits. Okay, so the same thing we did in features, we can also do it in sketch. You can see this is my sketch tool. I come to my right click, and then I scroll down. I want to get to the end, scroll down to the end, and then I go to customize. So this tells you I can do it in features, I can do it in sketch. Is there any tool I want to be bringing in? Let's see, commands. And is there any tool? Okay, let's leave it for now. So I'm just going to close it now. Okay, now here we have our feature manager design tree. Now let me show you what this does. This, you see this small window here, is our feature manager design tree. Okay, that's our feature manager design tree. You can see it, feature manager design tree. Now let me explain to you what this stuff does, and it's very, very, very important. First of all, I'm going to take the most important part, the planes. So we have the front plane, top plane, and we have the right plane. These are the 3 principal planes. Then we have the origin. Now you cannot draw anything in Solidworks. You cannot start a drawing without placing it on a plane. You don't just draw in thin air. Okay, you don't draw in thin air. So you must use a plane to define the position of whatever you are drawing. So if I want to start a new drawing now, the first thing I'm going to do is to go and open a plane where I want that particular sketch to be on before I start drawing. So we are going to explain that later in detail. Now the origin, whenever I'm starting a new drawing, I must start from the origin. Anytime I am starting a new drawing, I must start from the origin. So that settles that. Okay, now we have our material. Now we say not specified. So this is where we can add material to whatever drawing we have done. So we can add material to it. You know what it means to add material? We add material, and then once we add the material, automatically all the properties of the materials will be inherent in that object we have done. So we do this when if it's a work we want to proceed to simulation and analysis, maybe we want to run stress analysis on it, then we definitely have to add a particular material so that when we load it with any size or quantity of load, it will behave like that material. So that is it for now. We are not going to dwell so much on that. And okay, I'm going to visit the features toolbar again. I'm going to visit the features toolbar again. Now here we have basically the extrude, that's the extruded boss slash base, revolved dash boss slash base, swept boss slash base, lofted boss slash base, then boundary. Okay, that's not so necessary now. Now you see this first part of our features toolbar. These are the tools we need to create 3-dimensional solid models. So these are the tools we need to change whatever sketch we have done into a 3D model. And remember, the whole idea, the whole purpose of Solidworks is what? To draw 3D models. So this is, before we can convert any 2D sketch into a solid model, we are either using the extrude, we are either using the revolve, we are using sweep or loft. Now we're going to use extrude when we are dealing with objects that have edges. Okay, when we are dealing with objects that have edges. So when we are dealing with objects that are rectangular, square, generally objects that have edges, we use extrude. Now we use revolve when we are dealing with objects that are symmetrical. You know what I mean by symmetrical? If I cut it into 2, what I have on this side is a replica of what I have on the other side, probably laterally inverted. So we use revolve for such. Then we use sweep when we are dealing more on routing, something like pipeline. So for those of you in the pipeline sector and stuffs like that, you're going to be using a lot of sweep. So that's the swept boss slash base. So because here you can use it to lay a pipe, here you can use sweep to define how the pipe is going to run throughout. Okay, and then finally we also use loft for curvy surfaces, stuff like flower vase, curvy surfaces. You know, when we want to run away from sharp edges, objects that are very very curvy. We generally use loft for objects that are what, very very curvy, that don't have any sharp edge, like flower vase and the rest. Okay, so that is it. Then one more thing that I actually skipped when I was showing you through the feature manager design tree. Now there's another function of this feature manager design tree which is a very very important function, and that function is, remember that Solidworks is a parametric modeling software. What do I mean by parametric? It means that I can change a feature, I can make a correction on any part without necessarily distorting the entire work. Okay, so now what this means is that whenever I'm drawing, once I start drawing, every step I take is recorded in this feature manager design tree. If I draw a line, if I extrude a box, if I perform a sweep operation, a revolve operation, any operation I take is stored in this feature manager design tree, and each stage is stored what, separately, which means that if peradventure there is any need to go back and adjust a particular stage, maybe a particular sketch I did, maybe let's say I drew a line of length 10 mm, and then along the line I discovered, oh, this line should not be 10, maybe probably should be 10.5, 11. I can go back and adjust the length of that line and correct it, and it may not necessarily affect any other parts. It may, sometimes it may affect any other part, so I may still go and revisit those parts and update them one after the other. So that's what I mean by parametric software, and this is where it stores that parametric data. So every operation, every command I execute is stored uniquely in this feature manager design tree. Okay, and then finally you come to the bottom right end of your screen. You are going to see this mmgs. So now this mmgs, this is telling you the unit I am working with, this unit system that I'm working with. Of course, we know the mmgs is the millimeter gram second unit. So it means that anytime I am drawing a length is in millimeter, anytime I am adding a weight is in grams, and anything I am simulating with time, anything I am running with time, I am calculating the time. The time in that respect is what, in seconds. So that's mmgs. Now you may not want to use this my system of units. You may want another, maybe you may want your weight to be in pounds, you may want your length to be in feet. You have the liberty. So you can see we have this option. So if you come and click on these system options here you can change a lot of things. So this is just the default. So for that particular one, let's see, we go to document properties, we go to units. Okay, so can you see it? I am in my mmgs. So you have mks, meter kilogram second, you have cgs, centimeter gram second, you have ips, inch pound second, and the rest. And then you can customize that. But of course, you know, I am a mechanical engineer, so because I am in most of my designs, I deal with very very tiny machine parts that cannot be dimensioned in cm or in feet or in whatever. So that's why I always use my millimeter as the basics for my length. So I'm okay with this mmgs. I'm going to click on OK. So this is it basically with the drawing environment. And lastly, before I forget, these are the view tools. So I'm going to take you through them one by one. You see where my cursor is? This is the zoom to fit. This is the zoom to fit. So if I have any drawing on the screen and maybe I want to squeeze all of it to enter my system and I want to reduce it so that I'll be seeing the entire drawing once at a glance on my system, I use the zoom to fit. Now this next one is my zoom to area. So if I click it, I can highlight a particular area I want to zoom into, and then when I highlight that area, it zooms into that area, it makes it big, and then it enables me to see more details. Okay, very important ones. I'm going through the most important ones now. You can see this determines our orientation. So this determines our orientation. So if is in isometric, we can put it in the front plane, we can put it in the top plane, left plane, right plane, back plane, and bottom plane. So this determines the plane you're drawing. Okay, this determines the plane. So whatever you are doing here, you can change it. Now I'm in what? I'm in trimetric. I can put it in dimetric, I can put it in isometric. So you may not really appreciate this right now because there's no drawing on the screen, but I promise you, once we start drawing, everything is going to be very, very clear. Okay, so I just remembered there is one tool I want to bring out on my features toolbar. So I'm going to right click. There is one tool. When we draw, you're going to understand why I decided to bring out that tool, because you're going to be using it very, very frequently. So I'm going to right click here, scroll to the bottom, I keep going down, and then I go to customize. Yes, customize, commands. It should be under view. I think it should be under views or view related. So let's check view. Okay, so I have my rotate, so I'm going to bring it out. That's my rotate. Let's see, that's my rotate view. Yes, that's my rotate view. Then there is another one I want to bring in a tool called normal to. That's very, very important. Okay, I think it's in my standard views. I think normal to. Good, this is normal to. So I'm going to bring it out. Normal to. Yes. So, well, I think let me return it. I think I need to bring out the entire toolbar, so I'm going to go to standard views and check it. There is no need just bringing out the normal to. So standard views, so I check it. Good. So can you see, this is the standard views I just brought out. So these are okay. So I can say okay. I'll say okay. Now if you look at this standard view, these are the same tools here. Can you see it? They are the same tools here, but because I'm always going to be switching between faces and this normal to, so I don't want, anytime I want to access it, I'll go and click here and start looking at whatever. So I'm more comfortable having it stand by on my screen. Okay, so that is it. So in our next class, we are going to go straight and start drawing with the extruded boss/base. So don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Please like and share our videos. If this is your first time of coming across this channel, please feel free to share it amongst your friends, and thank you very much. Do have a nice day.